The International River Foundation's European Riverprize is being awarded for the very first time in 2013. The IRF European Riverprize celebrates successful approaches that have overcome the challenges to river restoration, ecosystem health, water quality and climate change within the social and political context of the European continent. In 2013, the European Riverprize is funded by Coca-Cola Europe. The International River Foundation acts as a catalyst for sharing knowledge and encourages both prize winners and finalists to establish extension and twinning partnerships. In 2013, the winners of the European Riverprize will work with IRF and IW Learn on an all-new twinning initiative. Here are the 2013 IRF European Riverprize finalists. Orbigo River, Spain. The Orbigo River is located within the Douro Basin, a transnational catchment shared between Spain and Portugal. Here, water management strategies have evolved historically from a view of the hydrologic cycle as a resource to a more integrated and focused approach encompassing ecological functioning. This approach fits under the European Union legislation on water, particularly the Water Framework Directive and Floods Directive.
We decided to enter the Riverprize because river restoration is still a quite unknown matter in Spain and even has detractors, not only among people but also among many technicians and politicians, who thought that an award of this kind would involve recognition and support, encouraging others to follow this path.
From this context, the National Strategy for River Restoration emerged in 2006 with the ultimate goal to improve the ecological status of all Spanish watercourses. In order to develop this strategy, the Ministry asked its agencies for demonstrative actions of change in the management of river systems, promoting integration with land use following sustainability criteria, while encouraging engagement and civil participation and technical training in this new approach.
One of the main objectives of the project is to have some kind of demonstration effect, so to facilitate this way of working in other parts of the basin. We consider Riverprize would have a great effect in such an objective.
The Orbigo River Restoration Project was designed for this purpose. It is an example of integration of both water management and land use policies. It covers a variety of actions including recovering room for the river, improving lateral connectivity, and the recovery of secondary channels and other para-river structures which reduced ecological functioning because of channelization. The integrated approach ensures that public participation processes, education and training, and a volunteering program underpin the implementation of the project. River Rhine, all countries in the Rhine basin. Following half a century of river degradation and a 1986 chemical accident near Basel, resulting in hundreds of kilometres of river being polluted and the mass death of fish, eels and other aquatic organisms, those responsible for the River Rhine realised that a fundamental shift in thinking was required for the management of this major transnational river.
A main challenge was, after World War II, building trust amongst all the participating countries into a collaboration that now lasts for more than 60 years.
Following investments by the states, municipalities and industry, more than 96% of the 58 million inhabitants of the Rhine catchment are today connected to urban wastewater treatment plants, and many industrial sites now dispose of waste via modern treatment plants. As a result, water quality has improved considerably and oxygen levels are back to normal.
The main success story of the ICPR was transforming the open sewer of the 60s into a nowadays living river.
The chemical status of most groundwater bodies is good, and inventories show that fish species composition in the Rhine is almost complete, with 67 fish species being detected. All historically identified species except for one have returned.
We do not only limit our collaboration amongst the contracting parties, but since the 1990s we involve both industrial and environmental NGOs in all our projects.
In addition to key river health improvements, the main aims of the International Commission for the Protection of the Rhine include harmony in water use and environmental objectives under the European Union Water Framework Directive, flood prevention, adaptation to climate change, sustainable development, human health and cultural heritage. Upper Drau, Austria. Until 140 years ago, the Upper Drau or Drava ruled the wetlands with its annual floods. With the building of the railroad line through the Upper Drau Valley in about 1870, regulatory procedures set the river's course in order to reduce flood danger, promote intensive agricultural use, and to expand settlement areas. The wetlands valley floor shrank. In spite of these developments, the Upper Drau still accommodated numerous natural resources, such as the last free-flowing, undammed stretch of the River Drau and the largest grey alder riparian forest in Austria.
The significant challenges that we had to overcome during our project were on the one hand side to convince the landowners and farmers about the advantages of our project, and on the other hand side to get the areas and the land to implement our measures at the river.
After the 100-year floods in 1965 and 66, a new problem arose: severe riverbed erosion in the Drau. Groundwater levels sank, agriculture and the stability of the bank protection structures also suffered. At the beginning of the 1990s, the water management section of the regional government, hydraulic engineers and environmentalists recognised their common interests in the Upper Drau. This led to an intensive collaboration where both water management as well as nature conservation experts worked together. As early as 1993, on the basis of a water management concept, the first rehabilitation measures began in the form of river widening.
We started our first river widenings in the year of 1992 with a length about 300 meters. Now we implement measures with a length of 3 kilometers. And I think that the first small measures were the catalyst for our project, because we could create confidence to our partners. And I think confidence is the major key factor for such projects.
Now, about 25% of the 68 kilometers long river section from Oberdrauberg to Paternion in the district of Spittel in Carinthia, Austria, has been restored. This collaboration and on-ground works have culminated in the River Drau, together with its riparian zone, being declared a European protected area in 2011. Mura-Drava-Danube River, Austria, Croatia, Hungary, Serbia and Slovenia. The Mura-Drava-Danube River corridor hosts highly valuable national and cultural landscapes in all 5 countries, with long river sections forming the state borders, in the past known as the Iron Curtain. Despite numerous unsustainable human practices, this stunning river landscape has kept an amazing biological diversity with rare natural habitat dynamics.
The 5-country initiative to protect the Mura-Drava-Danube corridor would not have been possible without 20 years of determined efforts by people on the ground. Efforts that included environmental education, nature trails, development of local tourism, other forms of local development. An international working group brought together people from governments, from relevant authorities, from international organizations and local stakeholders to first develop the vision and then turn it into reality.
For many local people, the intact river and floodplains are vital for their livelihoods, sustaining forestry, agriculture, recreation and tourism, as well as clean water for drinking. The rivers are part of their rich multi-ethnic cultural heritage. Still, the corridor's distinctive natural values are at risk. Since 1993, NGOs have been campaigning to protect the unique landscape in a Transboundary Biosphere Reserve, or TBR. Gradually, public administrations and NGOs cooperated to achieve jointly the implementation of the TBR. Conflicting management practices such as regulating the natural river courses, extracting sediments and building new hydrodams are threatening the TBR's ecological integrity.
Efforts to protect and sustainably manage the Mura-Drava-Danube have been faced by old-fashioned projects for channeling the river, also by extraction for gravel and sand, and also hydropower.
The TBR vision constitutes an alternative economic concept, promoting ecotourism and traditional farming. Continuing public information provided by NGOs and the European Union accession requirements motivated all 5 countries along the river to set up various protected areas. This conservation commitment reduced and then stopped river deteriorating interests. This transnational cooperation has taken an integrated approach to river restoration and management and achieved impressive on-ground results. The International River Foundation would like to thank Coca-Cola Europe for their support and congratulates all of the IRF European Riverprize finalists for demonstrating excellence in river restoration and management.